Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Business Basics. My special guest today is Sarah Martinez with Access to Independence. I am so excited to hear all about your business, Sarah. Tell me a little bit about it if you would.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me today. So Access to Independence is one of 6 centers for independent living in the state of Iowa. And we are disability resource centers. So we are state and federally funded to provide supports to persons with disabilities to be independent in the community. And one of our core services is advocacy. So on a individual systems, state, federal level, we do disability advocacy. So we really serve as a place where anyone in the community, disability or not, could come and get information about resources, services that support the disability community.
That's excellent. And then, Sarah, your role is your executive director, is that correct?
Correct.
And how do you like that?
It has, it's been about 1.5 years that I've been in the role. I started in April 2019. I'm a very young director. I believe actually the youngest director of a center for independent living in the country. And that has been, yes, it's been a very unique position to be in. Especially in these times. If you would have told me that my first year I would more or less be in a pandemic and then we had the derecho, would I have signed up? But I can tell you just the amount of personal and professional growth through this experience has been exponential, and the opportunities I've been able to provide the community and the community has provided me has been fantastic. And I look forward to seeing where Access goes and where I go with it.
Sure. And did you grow up locally then, Sarah, or what's the story? Are you a transplant or a native? That's the bumper sticker, right?
True question. I am a transplant. So I am originally from Northwest Indiana. I graduated with my bachelor's from Purdue University, Boiler Up, and came to the University of Iowa for my master's in rehabilitation and mental health counseling.
Okay, very good. And how many clients do you typically work with?
That's a great question. So right now we're serving roughly about 100 consumers who are regularly receiving some kind of service. Our services are free and they're consumer driven. So our consumers are the ones who really decide what supports they need, what they want to work on, and what goals they want to achieve. Our staff are guides and assistance to them achieving those goals. Okay. It's a unique model. And along with that unique model, 50% of our staff and board are persons with disabilities themselves. Really? Yes, so that's a mandate to receive federal funding for a center, is that we have to be consumer-led and driven. So I identify as a person with a disability. Yeah, so Sarah, tell me then about how do potential clients find you? They can call us and reach us on our main line and request services. They can find us online and email us at info@access2independence.org. Or a lot of our individuals come through word of mouth, through different providers in the community, people who have received services before and recommended us. We really rely on our community partners to help get people in the right direction. Yeah, I would imagine a lot of your clients come from referrals, just because folks that you serve wouldn't necessarily know where to look or how to start looking, or maybe even be aware of the services that you provide. Yes, we serve 8 counties, so that's a lot of territory to manage, and I do that with a very small staff. We have 6 people right now, including myself. Really? And so we really do rely on our community partners to kind of understand who we are and what role we serve in the community in order to best serve, our consumers. It's a lot of drive time when we were on the road, and now a lot of screen time and time on the phones.
Yes. So tell me, that's interesting. Tell me about your typical day. I mean, you get there, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. How does the day unfold for you typically?
So, there's a variety of activities that staff do and I do throughout the day. What makes it fun is just, the variety of our work. We sit on many community boards and committees. So like community transportation committees, ADA committees, along with human rights and mental health. So we have those kind of activities. Then we do direct services with our consumers, providing their support to reach their goals. We did do some groups that we ran out of different locations, but those are on hold right now. So we have shifted to COVID response. And so we have created some new programs like food delivery, actually, to help our individuals in our rural counties make sure that they're maintaining food security. We also started a technology program to help people stay connected during these isolated times.
Right. And how are they doing? Generally speaking, how are they doing during isolated times?
Yeah, it's a really interesting question because there's kind of two populations that we're talking about. We have a population of individuals who this is the norm for them. They were used to being isolated due to chronic conditions or other disabilities. They're used to being, at home quite a bit. And then there are other consumers who are really struggling, not being able to access the services they used to in the same way, staying connected with friends, family, activities and leisure. So it really depends who you're talking to. Some people are like, welcome to my life. This is what I was used to. And some people are like, just like the rest of us, really struggling with the quarantine.
Yeah, it's a whole new dynamic for sure. And you said prior to COVID-19, you were out and about more, right? Driving a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My staff, we serve, I call it the pizza wedge.
Okay.
So the 4 counties around Lynn all the way to Henry. So it kind of looks like a wedge.
Yeah.
So it's really at least an hour in any direction that our staff can be driving to reach a consumer. And we would meet people in the community, in their homes, whatever was most comfortable for them. And it's really amazing the diversity of your day when you do that much driving. You get to see a lot more of your community that you live in and meet a lot more people.
Right. Have the clients that you serve now, do they have access to Independence? I mean, do they have a laptop or something so they can Zoom you, or do they have assistance with that? How does that typically work?
We meet people where they're at. So meetings can be by text message, by phone call, by email, by video call. It really depends on what technology people have access to and are comfortable with, because not everyone is comfortable yet using virtual platforms. So we have been helping some individuals kind of break out of that shell and use new communication platforms. And then we also are helping people get connected. So we got a small grant. We started upgrading cell phones to make sure people had smartphones. So they did have capability. We got some jetpacks to help people get mobile Wi-Fi. And we, in the third federal relief package, the CARES Act, doubled our budget in COVID response support that we received, and we're able to purchase 30 iPads to create a lending library.
That's wonderful.
We're in the process of getting those up and running and then getting them out to people who need them.
That's great. That's great. So how about you and your staff? Are you guys working out of your homes as well right now? Are you back in your office environment?
So you see me at home because I am scheduled at home today. To socially distance in the office and maintain kind of safety, we have created a schedule where only 3 people are in the office at any given time. And so today is my scheduled day to be at, so I'm working out of my office. But we did spend roughly 3 months completely remote working from home. The transition back to the office was a great relief. People were excited to get back and get back to some sense of a schedule where you get in the door, you do your work, you go home. That separation of work and home life balance was really hard during our office shutdown.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? The new normal for some people. Some people are like, yay, I'm back at my office. Some people are like, I kind of like working from home.
I actually like the mix of it, honestly.
Yeah.
I am one of those people at home. I will work way more than 8 hours a day with no kind of restrictions. I'll just keep working. So there were some COVID weeks where 70 hours was pretty normal, and that got rough. Quickly. But you know, I think that this kind of rotation we have gives people kind of that balance. They get to spend some time home, you know, they get to do some chores during the workday and catch up on some other stuff while working, and then, you know, get into the office and get to the grind.
So Sarah, tell me about your team dynamics amidst this COVID-19, hopefully an emergence from the pandemic. But as the executive director, how do you keep your team on the same page when you're not necessarily in the same location?
Everyone is struggling with this. You know, utilizing our communication platforms. This has really been an evolving game because, you know, being completely remote looks different and connecting with the team looks different than when we are partially in the office and not. So when we were remote, we actually had a staff check-in every day where everyone got together, and it was kind of the water cooler talk where we checked in about our day, kind of what was going on, and then the plan. And then that's transitioned back to a normal weekly staff meeting where some people are zooming in from their office and some people are zooming in from home. Sure. But I maintain a one-on-one with every staff member to check their progress, how they're doing, do case consultations. So that has kind of been unwavering, as we've always maintained that one-on-one.
Yeah, it's just different. I know that with my team, we check in on a daily basis, usually through a Zoom call, so I can see. I like to read people's faces, but also text messaging, sometimes a phone call while you're driving, just whatever it takes to stay in touch, right? Yeah.
Well, and to really add to the remoteness of it all is that I have a satellite office. So I actually have a staff who works out of Cedar Rapids, and you know, connected to our staff really except through virtual methods right now. Okay. So that kind of brings an added layer when you're working with even more remote staff of
it does. That's so you have 2 offices then, the remote office, not your home office, but so where's the primary office located?
In Iowa City off of First Avenue, right next to Eastdale Plaza. We're on the back side, and we have our office space there. We have closed that space from walk-ins since March. So we're still 100% remote services, even though we do have staff in the office at some point. And then our satellite office location is in the Ecumenical Center, which is a kind of a joint nonprofit space in Rapids off of 2nd Avenue.
Gotcha. Okay. And then wherever else you're needed as you can reach out, right? Yeah. Well, what you guys do is really a wonderful service, and you're primarily funded, you said federal and state. Is that correct? Yeah. So that's excellent. Because the purpose is access, right? That's the purpose of what you do. Some days I imagine that can be kind of tough. So my next question is really appropriate for you, Sarah. So where do you find your inspiration each day? Because I would imagine that some days are challenging.
Oh, I get my inspiration and strength from, the services and the community, that, what we provide and what the community gives back to us.
Mm-hmm.
We raised just over $1,000 in derecho response, and we're the week after the storm in Cedar Rapids, we're out going from apartment complex to complex, taking PPE and different supplies to individuals, and um, you know the amount and outpouring from the community to help get people back on their feet is really that is my inspiration, is how we have come together in really adverse times,
Mm-hmm.
and where they're really difficult, we are still banding together to help our fellow neighbor and make sure that we get through this. And we may not know how long COVID is going to go, but we're all still here, we're all still doing our best, one day at a time, and one consumer at a time. And I think that's what we can take away, is that no matter how little it may be, we are still making a difference.
Oh yes, by all means, right? It is. It's a huge difference, even one person at a time, because every person that you help, every life that you touch, is a win, and it's special to that person for sure. You guys do wonderful work. All right, so what else can we talk about, Sarah? Tell me what else I need to know about Access to Independence. How's the best way for someone to get a hold of you? Tell me your phone number. Lay it on me.
Yeah. So you can call our main number at 319-338-3870 to request services or to get more information about what we do. To email us, info, I-N-F-O, at access2independence.org. And then you can check out our website at www.access2independence.org for more information about our core services, programs, and information about our staff and board. At this time, we are seeking board members. So if you're interested in, helping guide disability services in the corridor, if you yourself are a person with a disability and are interested in a leadership role, we are always looking for individuals to mentor and to help support them in their journey.
And what kind of skills are you looking for your future board members? What do they need to bring to the table?
I think a passion for making our community a more accessible and equitable place. Advocacy is definitely a big part. And then, general understanding of nonprofits is always a plus. It's not a necessary, because
Right.
there's always training to help you get what you need for financials and Robert's Rule of Order.
Yes.
But yes, that is definitely a plus.
And how many board members do you typically have?
We've fluctuated. Right now we're sitting at, I want to say 6, but we would like to be at 9.
Okay. Yep. A good odd number to break the tie vote, right?
Yes.
I love it. Okay. Hey, Sarah, thank you so much for joining us. Don't go away. This has been another episode of Business Basics. My name is Lee Iben. I'm the head business coach at Action Coach Campus. And my special guest today has been Sarah Martinez with Access to Independence right here in Iowa City. If you know someone who needs their services or would like to know more, please call them at 319-338-3870. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
You bet.